life of me or the life of my only child the answer to your question, what time is it?
8:15.
Welcome to the Regular or Menthol podcast where we discuss kino movies. My name is Tate. My co-host here is Chris.
Hello.
We give a little thoughts on the movie, our experience with it, and then we discuss specific scenes that we like, followed up with our own kino rating. The movie that we're discussing today is One Battle After Another.
Oh.
It just came out.
We pulled an audible on this one, didn't we?
We went to see this in the theater, you and I.
Yes, folks. We had to pull an audible. We felt inclined after watching this to squeeze it into spooky season, even though we had it slated out. So, yeah. Finally, you'll be able to hear something from past the year of 2012 from us.
I'll just get into the description of the movie, I suppose. There's a communist bomb maker, and he decides to just do a little terrorism. After knocking up his girlfriend, or what he thinks he knocked her up, he decides to quit terrorism to raise the child. The mother robs a bank, murders a guard, and gets put in prison and decides to become a rat to get out of jail. Meanwhile, some guy in the military who actually is a father decides to join a racist secret society. Years later, he hunts his daughter down because if the secret society finds out he has a black daughter, he'll be executed. The daughter winds up getting away, the bomber survives, the military guy gets killed by the secret society, and the mother is in some other country.
That's about it. I mean, sums it up. Nah, that's a pretty good description.
Why don't you just get into our little policy together of what we have of seeing movies, certain movies in the movie theater, and the threshold it has to hit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that it's one of those where I see something come out, and it's actually weird because I've been my YouTube algorithm only has like police chases and wild, like creepy pasta stories or whatever they're called, and just like random other food things because I'm a big foodie. And occasionally I'll see like a trailer pop through of something coming out, and there's been some good ones coming out of the past couple months. Not necessarily saying we're back, but there's been a couple good trailers, and I'll just see one of them randomly, and I'll text it to you like, hey. Typically, it's when one of our favorite actors or directors, are coming out with a new movie, but it's like, I'll text it to you and be like, is this worth going to see in the theaters?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you, there was a stretch from maybe like 2015, 2016 until 2022, let's call it the Marvel era, where I don't think there was anything worth going and seeing. There was like a solid couple of movies. I mean, mind you, you have COVID in there, but there was a solid span of a couple years where I was like, I didn't go to the movies. Like, there's nothing that I want to see. Do you want to?
We've seen a handful of movies in the last, let's say, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 5 or less, right?
Yeah, give or take. Maybe 10 or less, but either way.
And then we really just drilled down. This is how important this is not only will we only see a movie based on our mutual respect, whether it hits the kino threshold for us, but we also are only seeing movies in a specific theater. I'll tell us about that theater.
Yeah. So we have a buddy who's Frankie, who's a huge movie buff. He's like, you got to see this movie in IMAX. You have to see it at this place. Yeah. I only see movies in one theater. It's called the Broad Theater in Souderton, Pennsylvania. And apparently these two owners bought this place and completely revamped it, sunk a ton of money into it, and charged like nothing to go see a movie. A matinee is like $8. Mm-hmm. You get a thing of popcorn for like $4. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, the screens aren't IMAX screens, but for me, I'm not one of those people who needs to see a movie in whatever it's designed for or made for. I just give me a screen, a tiny little screen. I'll watch it. Mm-hmm. I know what they're going for. So yeah, this theater, out of respect for them, having their business model the way that it is, got to support it. So yeah, this theater's the only theater I'll go to watch a movie.
What do you think about the timing of this movie, it being released right now, where in the movie they're basically glorifying left-wing violence, and right now in the real world people are getting shot?
It's
there seems to be a
I'll tell you what,
left-wing violence rhetoric going on,
It's-
battling with right-wing violence.
it's funny because looking into this movie, I read that Paul Thomas Anderson said that it took 20 years to make. Now, mind you, this is the second of the movies that he's adapted to screen that he wrote off of a screenplay for that was from Thomas Pynchon. The other was Inherent Vice, right? So, yeah, this is a 20-year movie in the making. It's based off of a book, but to your point, yeah, it's fortuitous timing that they shot this. This took 7 months to film, and they release it right when all this is kind of happening, which is kind of wild timing to your point.
And to go along with that, there is a, I guess it's a flop, this movie.
Has it been? I don't know. I didn't look at the numbers. I mean, I thought it was great.
It is. I mean, I agree with you. It is a great movie, but it's one of those things where maybe it's too little too late from Hollywood.
I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah. Perhaps. Depends on what you say they're going for.
Right. And that's the conspiracy part of my mind always running wild. I'm watching this, I'm thinking, what's the message of this movie exactly?
Mm-hmm.
What are they trying to accomplish with this film? I think there's some kind of message in everything, some hidden message.
For sure. Absolutely.
Is it really just everyone that sees this, it's supposed to make everyone just go crazy Joker pilled because they see this violence on screen and they think, well, it's in the big movie, so it must be okay in real life?
It's interesting because, we both sat down and watched this, and we actually walked in late after watching the second time. We missed like the first couple minutes the first time, but, you're watching it and you're like, what in God's name is going on with this movie? It's, right. Leonardo DiCaprio and, I can't remember the actress's name, and they're just making bombs and doing terrorist shit, robbing banks. And it's like, and they're like the aggression of the music, and just her character is so powerful of this revolution that you're like, what did I just walk into? And then just her interactions with Sean Penn's character, Lockjaw. It's like, what am I watching, dude? It like took a solid, I think, 15 minutes into now mind you, this is a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, so plenty of time. But it took like a solid 15 minutes. I'm like, what's happening here? Are we still watching the credits, the beginning, the previews? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it pans out. But to your point, like there is a very political message in this movie. It kind of peters out a little bit at the end, and then, comes full circle at the end of the movie, I would say. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, one of the things I took away from it is, immediately I was like, are they trying to make it seem like the feds and the terrorists are equally insane and dumb?
Yeah, I think so, dude. That's a good way of looking at it.
Speaking of the feds, tell me what's going on with Sean Penn's character in this movie. He's this guy in the military. I'm not exactly sure.
He's a colonel, dude. Oh, yeah, he's a colonel. Okay, yep.
And is he the military's top gooner?
He is, yes. He is the military's top gooner.
Were you a little put off by this?
Dude, I mean, look at his aesthetic. Look at this guy. He's, Willa, who's the young girl in the movie. She, at the end of the movie, I think hits the nail on the head where she's like, why is your shirt so tight? Because in the last scene, he's got this like tight ass shirt. Yeah. And he like starts getting pissed at her, and she goes, it's all right. Don't worry about it. I can see the platforms in your shoes. So she's kind of calling him out. But yeah, his character in this, he's a gooner. There's no question about that.
It's kind of strange how they set it up, where this woman breaks into his room. Immediately, he falls in love with her, starts spying on her, sitting in his car, about to beat off.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is going on here? Is this realistic at all? This guy, seems crazy. I mean, we walked in a couple minutes late. I'm like, I don't even understand where they're going with this. This is nuts.
So her name is Teyana Taylor's the actress, but she plays Perfidia. And she's this crazy revolutionary who is deeply in love with Leonardo DiCaprio's character of Bob. And so there's this kind of interaction that she has with this colonel, and I don't even know how that they cross paths, but they cross paths multiple times, and he's kind of obsessed with her to the point where he's literally watching her and Bob, carry out some act of terrorism. And he's like in his car with binoculars kind of gooning, and he's like watching him slap her ass. It's super, super weird.
Yeah, I was a little weirded out. We'll get back to Sean Penn's character, but one thing that I thought about, and this is a little disturbing, I actually thought about this in the movie theater, and I don't think I ever even brought it up to you with it, was what if it wasn't Sean Penn in this role? Like Chris Penn. Yeah. Wouldn't it make way more sense if this was Chris Penn?
Yes, it would. Absolutely. I mean, man, talk about, we're big Chris Penn guys. I can tell you that much, folks. But it would have been tenfold better. I mean, I will say Sean Penn does a fantastic job at this role. Really gets after it. But yes, it would have been, I think, much better with Chris Penn involved. But yeah, dude, I mean, also, let's talk about Benicio del Toro, right? Second movie with Paul Thomas Anderson. The first being, like I mentioned earlier, Inherent Vice, which is also on the list. So, I mean, that's probably 5 episodes from now. But dude, you talk about Benicio del Toro recently getting all the love from Hollywood. He's in Sicario. So everyone's like, oh yeah, he's just like badass dude. But you want to talk about range and an actor? Go no further than watching this movie and Inherent Vice. Not even big roles, but when he's on the screen, dude, absolutely steals the show. And that's with Leonardo DiCaprio and Joaquin Phoenix in Inherent Vice. It's such like a weird character, and he's just like so awkward, and it just, I don't know. My point is his range as an actor is just on full display.
Right.
But again, an honorable mention, if we're talking characters in this movie, is the girl who plays Willa. Her name's Chase Infiniti, and this is apparently her first big break, her first big role. And I heard an interview with her talking about how she had to go through this interview process or audition process, and it was like grueling. It spanned throughout weeks, and then they didn't even tell her she got it until Leonardo DiCaprio was talking to her about it and just like doing this one scene, and she's like, wait, so I got the role? So yeah, she absolutely kills it. Great, especially, I mean, with all that pressure of, Paul Thomas Anderson, Leonardo DiCaprio on set. It's pretty impressive. She did a great job.
Phenomenal actress. She plays this role of someone who's kind of like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. She's
really
so confused, which is impressive. So, and again, it's her first time on screen. So, but yeah, so one thing that I don't know if you caught this, but it's like interesting how he wrote this movie. Again, it was adapted from a book, but he has this element where they're using payphones throughout the movie, right? And it's like they're trying not to date this movie, but what would you give this movie if you had to date it?
Right, it's hard to tell.
Because payphones don't exist.
I couldn't tell.
I don't think there are any actual standing in the United States. Are there? I thought they got rid of all.
There probably is somewhere, but not enough.
Working payphones.
Just come. Yeah, not enough where you would just come up. Maybe at the airport, but what's her name? She has a cell phone. Sensei Sergio has a cell phone, right? They got phones and stuff, but and Leo's phone looks like some kind of Zach Morris phone.
Yeah.
So it's hard to date, but you kind of attribute him to just being some dude that's been drunk for 30 years. And doesn't know what time it is anyway. If I had to date it, I would be like, this is 2015.
Yeah, that I would agree 100%. 2015 dated, and I think the whole point of them using him using all this older stuff is you see it from the one guy who's like their tech guy in the Revolution. They're called the French 75. He's talking about using analog because they can't trace it. So the whole idea is they're flying under the radar. All these older things they're using, it's because they don't want to be caught. So you could make the argument that this actually is 2025, but the fact that he felt like he had to write in the payphones because it was part of the story. Yeah, it's weird. Last thing I'll say though, is you just have another Kino soundtrack from the GOAT, Johnny Greenwood, who has done, I think, almost all of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies. This is, anyone who doesn't know, is the genius behind Radiohead. I mean, you can just, like I've been doing, listen to this in your car while driving on repeat for the past 2 weeks. But yeah, it's a great soundtrack that just supports the whole movie. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, let's get into who's the literally me character for you, my friend.
I mean, I felt a lot of kinship with Sensei Sergio.
I knew that.
Played by Benicio del Toro. I love it. This guy's just chilling in his karate dojo, doing business with only a pair of nunchucks for weapons. Very on brand for me. He's also super chill the whole time they're escaping through the building and the tunnel.
Yeah.
Not panicking at all throughout the whole movie. Even when he's getting pulled over for a DUI. Very chill and calm. Because he's kind of a distraction, so he knows.
Dude, anyone who's out there who doesn't know, Tate is a master chucker with nunchucks.
True.
Facts, I've seen it. I'm quite the opposite. I'm literally Bob, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's character. I'm into making explosives. Not true. Joking. But yeah, by the time my daughter's 16, I'm sure that our interactions are going to go identical to him and his daughter. And yeah, I'll often forget the passcode because I'm too drunk. Which is, we'll get into it in a bit, but that's just such a funny, his character, man, just, it's great. The character, just the arc of his character throughout the movie is so good. But yeah, let's get into what this movie's all about.
I wonder what this movie is supposed to be. You know, I'm watching it, all I can think of is that Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to make a movie that showed that both sides are dumb.
Yeah.
What is the hidden message of this movie? I don't know. There's a hidden message and then there's a deeper hidden message. What they want you to do when you watch this movie, maybe go crazy and get even more political. I don't know. But then I'm like, maybe the whole movie is about anti-politics because politics only serves everyone horribly in this movie.
Yeah.
And at the end,
exactly,
it's just the drunk dude and his daughter that doesn't want any part of this nonsense until she starts taking up the mantle of politics. And then he's like, whatever, go do your thing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's kind of parallels a lot to Inherent Vice. And for anyone who's seen it, a lot. The fact that Benicio del Toro is in there, essentially the same character. And then the main character, who Inherent Vice is, played by Joaquin Phoenix, is almost an identical parallel to Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Is kind of wild to me. With that said, though, something I found interesting is Bob isn't really painted as the hero in this movie because you see Willa, the daughter, who she's captured and she's doing all this badass shit to get out of it. But you think about it, Bob is kind of the hero in this movie in his own right, right? Like he's the off-screen hero raising this chick, a single dad for 16 years. And then he does everything he can to find her at the end of the movie. So it's, like I said, like Doc Sportello, great character. All right, but let's get into some of these fun facts here. I mean, like you said, this is a fairly political movie. You quickly realize the title is actually taken from a 1969 statement from the revolutionary political group The Weather Underground that was published in an issue of New Left Notes, a left-wing periodical from the Students for a Democratic Society. The statement read, "From here on out, it's one battle after another, with white youth joining in a fight and taking the necessary risks. What are your thoughts on that?
My thought is that I'm not sure that people even understand that there was a terrorist group in the United States called the Weather Underground.
Exactly.
That was this left-wing terrorist group.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of it's interesting to see all these people arguing online about politics and everything. Oh my God, this and that. There was like legit terrorist groups in the United States in the 60s and 70s and stuff. Like there was a FBI field office that got broken into from one of these groups, and they revealed this program called COINTELPRO that the FBI uses, where they would put these, FBI agents in these groups.
Right.
So the idea being, if you're in one of these groups, you never know which one of your comrades is actually an FBI agent.
Isn't that kind of isn't there an idea that that's happening today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the thing's still going on. It's a fantastic tactic, but that's the whole thing. Like whether it's left wing or right wing groups, the FBI is probably putting agents in your group. They're probably all agents at this point.
Yeah.
Anyone that's advocating for violence, like in this movie, they're probably FBI agents.
Checks out. Another thing that I came across, well, I mentioned it earlier, was it took them 20 years to write the script. Kind of relatable. I think you said before that you have a couple ideas for scripts, right?
I got a whole folder on my Google Drive full of ideas. I'm an idea man. What can I say? Just, and it's like my mom has a whole book that she wrote about some Christmas kids book.
Yeah.
My dad had these screenplays that he has this whole screen. If you ask him about it, he'll start rattling off the details of this movie that he wrote. And it's just, I don't know, in his head or something.
It's awesome.
And it's just, you got to put pen to paper and actually
it's
write it though.
To your point though, it's like I had this idea for a feature film that our buddy Ryan, who does a lot of writing and directing, was kind of going to get in on it with me. And, we did the storyboards for it, came up with outlines, and it's like, there's hours and hours because it's a period film and there's just a lot of research you got to do. And this is something that I hear that Paul Thomas Anderson is really good at. Like this dude will just spend months into this kind of shit. So, and his writing process is kind of wild. Watch videos on it, but yeah, I mean, I can definitely respect. It's like, okay, it took 20 years to write. Why? It's like, cause you're not writing for 20 straight years. Obviously it's, it has to come together in its own kind of way. So definitely relatable. Cause that idea I had was like been running since like 2015. So
that's the thing. I mean, I think the hard thing about writing is actually doing it.
Right.
And putting pen to paper. And when you get into things about like, research and everything, it's almost like that's there to stop you.
Right.
But after the fact, like if you're writing, you get through that research as it comes up. You're writing, you see something, what would this person do in this time period? Then you would look it up maybe.
Well, from what I understand, that's his method, is like just putting pen to paper. And he's like, don't look at a blank page of paper. Just start writing. It doesn't matter what comes out of it. Just start writing.
And that's the best way to do it, because otherwise you'll just stop yourself. Starting is the hardest part.
Oh yeah. That's with any walk in life. We talk about it all the time. It's like, just don't talk about it. You have to just do things or else they won't get done. Simple as, folks. So whatever. Some controversy was garnered when a homeless encampment in Sacramento, California was cleared out to allow for filming for this. Like, think about that. It's like they're scouting locations. Like, all right, well, this place looks great, but it's a homeless encampment. I can visualize what it looks like without all these homeless shelters. So we're going to have to like get these people out of here. I just find that wild. It's like, there's no substitute. Like apparently these people gave like a lot of kickback, and they're like, they had the permits. So they literally had to evacuate the area for the time being. It's like, oh, that's how you get it done?
Sorry, guys. We got a movie to shoot here, and part of the movie is actually going into encampments and clearing people out with the military. So anyway, can you guys get out of here for the time being? That's great. Like,
It's wild, but let's get into some of these keynote scenes here. There's some good stuff here. This movie.
I thought it was interesting. There, in the beginning of the movie, there is this kind of montage going on that kind of shows their terrorism, and there's this scene where Leo and what's her name,
Perfidia
are putting a bomb outside this. I guess I don't know what you would call it, electrical tower.
Yeah.
And it shows in the next scene the power going out in the city.
Yeah.
And they don't really expand on it at all. But I was like, that is actually effective terrorism, I feel like. If you just go and bomb the power grid.
Yeah. People don't get it. They talk about the dumbest things of like, oh, let's make like this dumb little bomb or something. It's like, nah, dude, there's actual tactical ways to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, anyone who is advocating for violence, what do you always hear? You always hear like, I want to go kill this person, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what would that do? That would do nothing.
Do nothing. Yes.
The way you attack the system, you want to start a revolution, you just bomb the power grid, dudes.
Yeah.
Don't take my advice here. People listening to this, don't do this. Yeah, there's a story of there's this event that took place where someone was shooting this transformer.
Yeah, I've heard this.
They never caught the person, and it put a lot of worry in everyone because basically this guy just walks up to this transformer and shoots it. But the implications are that you could totally destroy the power grid of the country if multiple people did that around the country, because these transformers are expensive equipment that needs this coolant and everything.
Yeah.
And they can't just get a replacement tomorrow. Like, they have to have someone build one of these things, right? So people were freaking out about it. And that was like a major, and you know, nothing ever happens, folks. Nothing ever happens. Trust me on this.
It's all fake.
But it reminded me of that kind of thing where you're like, oh, are these people really doing the terrorism?
So there's a scene right after that where they had this baby and Leo's holding it and she's arguing like she wants to go out and she feels, I guess, kind of sheltered. She like, wants to go out and keep after this revolution. And he's like, all right, baby, go do your revolution. Go do your revolution, baby. And she's kind of like pissed at him or whatever. And he pops off and he's like, he's like, what the fuck are you doing? We're a family now. He's like, we can't just be doing this shit anymore. And it kind of makes me realize, right? The revolutionaries tend to stop caring about things when they have kids. You hear about all these people who, it's like, then you have another life that you have to kind of watch out for. It's like, okay, now I value my life a little bit more, and then I have to take care of this kid.
Well, yeah. And look, what's the reason that they're doing this terrorism? It seems to be like these people have no lives.
Right.
And they're just doing this as an outlet of their rage. But DiCaprio seems like he's never really into it.
Yeah.
He's just good at making bombs for whatever reason. And like, you know, he is now like, we have a family. Hello, lady. Hello. And she's like, nah, I'm just going to keep. And I'm watching this in the theater and I'm thinking to myself, you know, I wonder what Big Chris thinks about this. You know, here's a guy. He's a dad. He's got a daughter. How would you feel if your wife was just like, listen,
I'll tell you what, man.
My wife, the life you got here.
My wife would be
terrorism.
Yeah, she'd be pissed. She'd be pissed watching the scene because she can never understand. Like, she's such like a hands-on mom, and she just loves every second of being a mom. So the fact that people could just do this and be selfish. I mean, you call this selfish if you want. If a revolution is more important, then so be it. But yeah, it's just once you have a kid, man, all bets are off. It's like you gotta lock in. That's like your sole focus. So
they seem like they're amateur hour, and the only one scene where they do the power grid thing was done by Leo.
Exactly, dude. The bank robbing scene, talk about amateur hour. Like, well, look at these people trying to climb onto this bank teller's stand. the most unathletic scene I've ever seen in my life.
No masks, making some kind of speech up on the stand.
Dude,
That's not how you do it.
so crazy.
Most successful bank robber in history is from Pennsylvania. How did he do it? He'd jump up on the thing, say, "Give me the money." He'd bounce, take a bike through the woods, and get in a box truck, much like in Place Beyond the Pines. It was probably based on that guy.
Yeah, didn't he have like little campouts too, like little shelters that he made?
He had these bunkers. That's how he got caught. These kids found his bunker out in the woods, like out in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "What is this?" And he had this karate material in there. And they were like, the cops were like, let's just go to this dude's karate place, see if we can find him. And they did.
Almost genius. He was almost genius. But no, you make a good point. It's like, there are ways to do this, and it's not to just pull down your mask and start shooting people. And it's just, that whole scene is pretty bad. And
then the getaway scene where you're like, why are they going through red lights and crashing? The cops aren't even behind. Look, folks, we go back to our initial episodes. We talked about the movie Drive. Okay, Driver from Drive is the opposite of these drivers.
You just hired Driver from Drive as your getaway guy.
They'd be innocent, right? They'd be out of jail if they had Driver from Drive.
Yeah, dude, it was pretty bad. It was very high energy. They were really well shot, and it was very cool. A lot of action, but the practicality of it was pretty bad.
You just said my actual thoughts of this whole movie is basically, it's a great movie. It's shot well. The story's cool, but I can't help but cringe at it. Because I'm like, look, we'll get into it, but you know.
No. You make a good point. It's like, I'm watching it too. And again, there's no bigger PTA fan than me. So going into this, and I walk into the theater and it's like all this like chaotic, weird shit that, to me, watching it, it just doesn't fit. And it just comes off a little bit aggressive and not well done. And it's like, okay, dude, like, if you want me to believe that this French 75 is like a revolutionary and like they're underground and, you know, they're using analog stuff so they don't get caught, why are they just walking into a bank and just shooting the place up with no masks on?
Well, yeah. And that's you're watching this whole montage. You're like, these people are not serious. These are not serious people at all.
Right.
They're in this woman's pregnant and she's got a machine gun shooting into a field. And I'm like, what is the practical application of doing that other than you're just popping off rounds? By the way, right next to your, you know, super pregnant belly, gunfire is going off. That probably can't be good for the baby. But what do I know? These are not serious people.
Exactly.
The impression I got.
So me as the viewer, I'm just not believing that any of this is, you're not adding that to the character that, okay, like they've crept around the authorities for X number of, with code words and passwords and all that you see later on in the movie. So it's just kind of like, all right. And then like it starts to get into the meat of the movie and I'm like, all right, now I can focus and sure.
But you realize the only reason that they weren't caught, these underground people, is because Steve Lockjaw stopped caring.
Literally.
He got his medal, and that was it. The only reason he went after him again was to find his daughter, and he immediately fought her. He immediately found her, like, instantly. It was crazy.
Simple as.
But I just call this guy Avon Barksdale because his real name is Wood Harris.
Yeah.
Because I recognize him from The Wire, and in The Wire, he's Avon Barksdale. But he's making out with this girl in the car. She says, "Regular looking white girl, do your thing." She walks in the building. She's wearing a Star of David necklace. Your thoughts on that? I mean,
so
this take away from that, because I mean, it's like was this the real people involved in the Weather Underground?
I don't know, man. It was very weird because it's right in front of camera, and you know everything that you put in a movie is there for a reason, but. This chick is Alana Haim, who I don't know if this was the movie that he shot before this was Licorice Pizza. I didn't see the movie personally, but she's the lead in it. Maybe that's why I didn't see it, but I don't know, dude. This chick is apparently some lead singer of a group with her and her sisters. Don't know. Like, what's
Where'd she come from?
Looking at her, I'm like, where did this chick come from? How is she super talented? I don't know. But her character gets popped right away by Lockjaw, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally schizophrenic. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it was so in your face that they show you that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they trying to show you that on purpose?
Very odd.
Right? Like, I'm not just saying this for no reason, folks.
But to your point, though, he is kind of my dude.
Wood Harris.
Yeah, Wood Harris kind of rules. Like, he's remembered from Remember the Titans, but he's been in a couple other small things. But the actor, I think, is he should be definitely getting bigger roles. But
totally agree. I think he rules, and I'm not really sure why he's not a more household name.
Yeah.
But I think he's awesome.
I had to look his name up. I'm like, who is this guy? I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, he's kind of my guy.
And then, we talked about the bank robber scene. I just wanted to point out, though, that she's mentioning this woman jumps up on the teller stand. This is what Black Power looks like. And a second later, Perfidia kills a guard.
Yeah, that was kind of
bank,
super weird.
Who happens to be black. The guard is black. I'm like, what are they trying to tell you here?
Yeah.
These are not serious people.
Right. It's a good point. Yeah.
Like,
it's good.
This is, and another thing is, it's all this performative stuff. She jumps up and starts popping off. And as soon as Perfidia shoots, a gunshot goes off, and it she just spooks her.
Yeah. She's like, oh, what? Yeah. It's a good point.
This just got serious. This terrorism thing actually is kind of dangerous.
Right.
I didn't expect this, and then they run out of the bank, and it's just like, they're not ready for the reality of the situation.
It's a great point. Yeah. You have these scenes that come after where Lockjaw is just going around gunning down these French 75 people. He has, I guess, just carte blanche as a colonel to just kill people because he just shoots that Alana Haim girl's character, and then the dude's coming down the stairs and he just shoots him in the back in like an alleyway. Mm-hmm. It's like, is he allowed to get away with this? But you see it throughout the movie where he's like, oh, we found out where Bob is. He's like, give me a reason to go to Back to Falls or whatever the name of the location is. It's just kind of insane on that premise. But then
I didn't get that.
Well, then he shoots our boy Laredo, which is Wood Harris. That's his character name. Real quick, before we get into that, let me get a loadout check on what these guys are working with. Because I thought I noticed one. I think I noticed the gun that Wood Harris has. It's kind of like
he has
PK5.
He has
no,
I don't even know what he has. It's like a Draco looking gun. It's a short barreled AK basically. And I don't know what guns they would have had at that time. AK-74U, whatever it's called. The with the Bond had in GoldenEye on the tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you remember that?
Yep. Oh yeah,
that's what it looked like. Kind of cool. I mean, very on brand for a revolutionary.
Yeah.
I noticed that there's these groups online that are like left-wing groups that are pro-gun, and they're like, we're going to stand up to the right wing and whatever, everything. And they tend to have they tend to have more AKs in their loadouts, these groups online, I've noticed. And I wonder, is that because AKs are seen as communist weapons?
It's an interesting point.
I don't know. No? Something to think about. But anyway, Wood Harris has, this short-barreled AK. Now, I did notice that Sean Penn, this actually, it stood out to me in the movie when I'm watching it in the movie theater, and I'm like, I can't believe this. Sean Penn's character has the SIG spear, and I think in the new chambering, 6.8, the new, it's this new rifle that they want to give everyone in the army. Mm-hmm. Every soldier they wanted to give this to, and they did this whole testing of new weapons and everything. And sure enough, SIG won. SIG won the competition. Wow. And it's this giant battle rifle that shoots this new round called 6.8. And I'm not sure exactly what the point of it is, but almost immediately people were like, no. And I don't think that they're even implementing them. I'm not even sure what it's at, but this is like a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
That they made this decision to do this. And anyway, here's the product placement in the movie.
No, is it really? Is that what he
seems
has?
like to me.
Okay.
That's what he has. Yeah. I mean, it jumped out to me. And then all the other guys on his squad have, ARs.
Is that the one that he's walking down the street with at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty alarming gun. So speaking of Sean Penn, let's talk about this guy's physique. Okay. On a timeline from, I don't know, let's start with Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
He's a tiny little guy. He's I don't know how tall he is, but it's got to be, I'm going to say 5'7" or something. But
let me check that out.
He's also very skinny in Fast Times.
He's 5'8".
He's roided to the gills in this movie.
Roided to the gills.
His skin is
leather,
straight up leather looking. It's beet red. And at one point later in the movie, he, takes his jacket off and it's just his undershirt, and his arms are just gigantic and jacked.
Well, it's there's like, he's got these veins, like he's very vascular, I will say, which is pretty wild for his age. How old is this dude?
Great question. He's too old to be looking like that. Let's put it that way.
That's best way of putting it. He is 65 years old.
Dude, as a 65-year-old, like, I'm going to be looking like that when I'm 65, sure. But I'm some maniac in a podcast, okay? I'm not some guy in movies where it looks completely insane for you to be looking like that.
Right.
He was in a movie 10 years ago called The Gunman with Javier Bardem.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like this mercenary dude or whatever. But that's where I first saw him, where I was like, oh, that's what he's doing. He's going the roid route.
He absolutely is. He was in what's the movie with, God, it's like a whole cast of actors. It's like an old noir movie. Gosling's in it, and he plays like a boxer. And everyone's like, oh my God, Sean Penn is jacked.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
I mean, it's no big secret now what they do. They just roid out for these roles.
Gangster Squad? That was 2013. Holy cow. Yikes.
Like, Jackman's been doing Wolverine for 25 years, and he gets more jacked every iteration of the character that he does.
Is he accomplishing that now?
I don't think so. I mean, listen, I don't have anything against roids, really. I just think it looks a little strange on Sean Penn, especially when it doesn't really need to. Why does it need to be roided in this movie? I don't know. That's why I think, imagine if it was Chris Penn with his just fat body from Starsky and Hutch. It would look and fit a lot better, I feel like. But anyway.
So on the subject of these characters, great blend of casting. Tony Goldwyn, if you remember. I know you know Tony Goldwyn. He heads the Secret Christmas Adventurers Club. Most of you know him from the movie Ghost. But yeah, so this guy in the French 75, Somerville, he's the one who gets caught. He's like the tech guy who comes up with the analog things.
Mm-hmm.
I looked this up. This guy apparently is also a musician in a group, but he has a few lines, but just the way he delivers them is so great. Like this kind of, when they interrogate him or when he's even talking to Bob before he leaves, it's super small, two little scenes, but I just think he kind of kills it. But again, this is
I agree.
A testament, in my opinion, of great direction by Paul Thomas Anderson, because it's like this dude could take anybody and just get them into a scene and get them to just regurgitate what he wants the way he wants it. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but then yeah, I'll end it with the last character noteworthy is Tim Smith. Great character name. While we're on the subject of character names every week, played by John Hugenacker. Remember this guy?
No.
Well, if you saw his face on screen, he's the one driving the Mustang at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
gotcha.
This guy, absolutely just that guy in those things, and I think he absolutely kills him in this movie.
Yeah, he's a great character, and has a very awkward conversation with the Christmas group where he kind of is too nonchalant about the fact that they're saying weird stuff like "Hail Saint Nick."
Hail Saint Nick. Yeah. And they like,
yes, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, yes, Merry Christmas. It's like shaking all these dudes' hands, Merry Christmas.
Well, he walks into the house and it's someone's actual house, and she's like baking a pie, the wife, and he goes through this like secret door downstairs to the secret meeting. It's just and he's like very tennis club looking dude. It's very interesting, but I think he kind of kills this role. Right, he kills this role. You also have I'll bring this up, this interrogation scene where Willa's going to the dance, and I'm not gonna lie to you, dude, this is gonna be me one day with my daughter when someone comes to pick her up. So Bob's like, he grabs this kid and he's like interrogating this little like Mexican kid, and he goes, whispers in his ear, he's like, "You listen to me. Whatever you do to her, I'm gonna do to your entire fucking family." It's like this is gonna be me one day. And then she tells him, "All right, look, the casserole's in the oven. Just don't burn it after it comes out," because he can, at this point in the movie, he can barely like take care of himself. So
he just turns around and he's like, "Yeah, we're just talking about freedom. Talking about freedom.
It's all good until you don't have it."
Yeah,
dude, it's so good. But then you get to what I mentioned earlier about payphones. This is a little Easter egg, but if you watch where he's kind of on the run at this point, he goes to the payphone on the side of the store and just starts dialing the number. No one ever caught the fact that he doesn't put money in. Yeah. So the payphone he didn't put any money in the payphone. It's just a little goof, I guess.
That's it. Hey, listen, we've been out of the game for a long time with these payphones. People don't know how to use them anymore, you know?
Look, it was goof. And then the roundup scene is a little bit wild. So he's going through these apartments with legal families, Sensei and Bob, and they finally get to Sensei's pad, right? And the decor that he has in there, he has like these like tiger pictures and these draperies all over. It's just, and he's just going, just him maneuvering through that apartment is so good. I just think
it looks like your first apartment out of college or something.
And then what does he do? He immediately cracks a Modelo can and just starts, like you said, just completely relaxed. You know, Bob's freaking out, and Sensei is just so zen. He's just like locked in. I love it.
He keeps telling people to just breathe, and then he goes, "Ocean waves."
Ocean waves. Yep. And it's funny because this is where Bob finally gets his phone charged, and he's trying to call in to figure out where the rendezvous point is, because that's where to take up Willa. And this guy on the other line is like pissing him off so much. That in and of itself is just such like a great part of the film. But he's like, the guy keeps asking, "I need to know what time it is. You have to tell me what time it is." And he's like freaking out. He's like, "I don't know what time it is." And then it just shows Sensei in the bathroom washing his face. Like, "It's 8:15. Because he like doesn't know anything that's going on, like with these passcodes or whatever. He's just nonchalant. He's like, "It's 8:15. It's just so, dude. Del Toro just kills me, man, in this role. But then he sends him down the hall. They part ways, and Bob gets the courage to scream, "Viva Revolution!" He puts up his fist, and Sensei is in this little trapdoor thing, and he, puts up his fist or whatever. This is literally, like I mentioned earlier, it's Doc Sportello and Sanch in Inherent Vice. It's like these two.
Yeah.
These two have such a good on-screen camaraderie and just banter. It was perfect. It was perfect casting, in my opinion.
He's like, I want you to come with me. And he's like, "Courage."
Courage, yeah. Courage, Bob.
He just turns around. He like hypes him up. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
And like, "Viva la Revolution."
He just buys into it. He's like, "Bob, courage." And he's like,
yeah,
you're right. He just goes off on his own. So then Bob obviously is on the run here, and he gets tased, and they take him to like processing or whatever. And you notice that they mentioned it earlier that everyone in the town is for the cause. It's like a specific town to kind of move illegal immigrants through. And so you get the idea that Sensei knows everybody. So immediately as Bob's being processed, the chick knows who he is. So she sends him up saying that he has, diabetes or whatever. He needs something. And the nurse comes in, immediately knows to kind of get him out the side of the door, right? So she breaks him out. And in the beauty of it is, during all this, he's still rocking this robe that he had on at his house. So like throughout the entire movie, right up to the end, he has this like red robe on.
with like cataract shades on.
Cataract shades that he just grabbed to just be inconspicuous, and like a beanie, right?
Yeah.
So he gets out the side door, comes down the fire shaft, and jumps into Sensei's car, who immediately just gives him a Modelo to crack.
Yeah. This dude's just rocking Modelo's.
I love the Modelo product placement.
The product placement here now is, I guess we're assuming that this guy is running an underground railroad for illegal immigrants. And it does make you wonder, is Modelo the official beer of illegal immigrants? Now, Modelo is supposedly the number one beer in America after the Bud Light fiasco that took place.
Yeah.
Not sure. I mean, is that what they're going for here?
No, I don't know. I just think that it's Modelo's a very beloved beer in California. Its pricing is much cheaper than Corona. I don't think it might be a little more expensive nowadays, but Modelo is a very, very popular beer. There's a ton of marketing for it. You see on TV, or there was a big marketing push. I think it's kind of tailored off a little bit. The point of what I'm getting at is they're in this car scene, and apparently, from what I understand, they were just drinking beers and just riffing, the two of them, DiCaprio and Del Toro. It's like, you could just see this too. You know what I mean? They just going for a ride, couple of buds. But then you get to the scene, which I think is probably the funniest thing in the entire movie, is where Bob finds this 1994 Nissan Sentra that has an exhaust and a spoiler on it.
Mm-hmm.
He hotwires it, and this is his car for all the chasing to find Willa the rest of the movie. It's like, bro,
Willa's in a Dodge Charger. The dude chasing her is in this souped up Mustang, and Bob's just zipping around in this 94 Nissan Sentra.
Literally zipping is a good way to put
it. And speaking of which, I mean, that scene is actually pretty awesome. Willa is saved by this American Indian gentleman who was working for the Christmas Adventurers, but then turns on him.
Who, by the way, he is, if you know that actor, he's in The Last of the Mohicans.
Really? I didn't recognize that. No.
Yep. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
So, like, he gets in a shootout to save her from the Christmas Adventurers, and she takes his ride, which is this Dodge Charger, I believe. Yep. This white Dodge Charger. And anywho, this assassin that's working for the Christmas Adventurers is chasing her in his Mustang. And it's kind of a cool scene because he's far enough away. She sees someone coming behind.
Right.
She's expecting someone to come behind. And there's a guy far enough away where she sees it. But they're going over all these hills, right? And the camera keeps going from the front of the car, looking at her, to like the back of the car, looking her driving over a hill, and she'll go over a hill and then the camera will go in the front of the car. So it's looking back, and you can kind of just see this car emerge like at one hill back. And it's awesome because it totally gives the sense that she's panicked out of her mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That someone is chasing her. She's like, oh my God, someone just came over that hill. He's still on me. And it's getting closer. And the way they shot that whole scene, I thought was just phenomenal.
Well, again, not to fanboy out on Paul Thomas Anderson, but it's like, yeah, dude, this is what There Will Be Blood. This is what he does, man. He gets these like incredible locations. He does it also in this movie with the chapel where Willa and Lockjaw, he's giving her the paternity test. And if you take notice, there's the part where he's chasing after her in the chapel, and you look at it, and it's just this wide shot of the entirety of the chapel. It's like super colorful, and it's like super symmetrical, and then you have them running around in it. It's like kind of like you wouldn't think twice about it, but kind of a genius shot to add on to what you're saying here with like the rolling hills. Also, I thought was That whole last sequence, just the chase sequence, is so awesome. Very awesome. But and then leads to the line of the movie for me is Sensei gets pulled over. this cop is questioning him about why they were running from him. And she says, "You been drinking today?" And Sensei's like, "I've had a few." She's like, "A few what?" He goes, "A few small beers." We both died in the movie theater.
It's the way he says it so casually, though. It's like he's purposely doing it so casual.
Yeah.
Because no one who is in that situation would be that casual. So it's just it's way funnier the way he says it. But and then he's also like a distraction. He's distracting these cops.
Yeah.
So that Bob can get away.
Buying Bob time, but just a few small beers.
A few small beers. A cop would hear that and be like, okay. Because typically what they'll hear is like, no, didn't drink anything. Or, had a few. But they're all panicked when they're saying it. And the fact that he says it, he just comes out and admits it and just says it casually. In his mind, he's probably thinking, I'm going to let this cop arrest me, and I want them to kind of put me through the ringer of the whole song and dance of the roadside tests and everything, just for more time.
It's such a good character.
His delivery is great.
My question to you is, you have this scene where she breaks out this body dump areas that they go to with these dudes on quads. You think these things exist, like where those military dudes are? Those, I don't know if they are military guys, but what do you think about that? You think those actually exist in the world?
Probably. Just like spots where they take someone to assassinate them so that they can like dump the body somewhere. I imagine so. You
see it in the movies.
Yeah, what my imagination can come up with is probably not anywhere near the reality of the situation. You know what I mean?
No, I'm curious. I watch this. I'm like, there's some areas that are probably not as, I would say, policed or whatever, that I could 100%. See that being a possibility. But
they're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
Right? They get them on
some blurred lines
in the middle of nowhere where no one would be around to witness it, and then they kill them.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't want to find out.
So then leads up to Lockjaw, right? I just want to point out that the makeup team on his face here at the end, absolutely incredible job. Like what they did to his face.
Mm-hmm.
Great job. Which leads my question to you is, this dude who shoots him, it's like, why would this guy with a shotgun be using, and it's seemingly he's using birdshot instead of buckshot?
I'm not sure. It's also possible that he just missed because he's driving by and does like a drive-by from the driver's seat, pointing a shotgun out the other window. I didn't really know what was going on there. It's kind of like, if you're going to kill the guy, why don't you just run him off the road first and then shoot him?
Yeah. Well,
because he doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know what's happening, right?
Yeah, but he knows if he runs him off the road, then he could theoretically have the upper hand of surprise.
Yeah.
He catches him with the upper hand of surprise, and then he runs him off the road. He doesn't get hurt. He can come out with the rifle that you mentioned that he has, and he's a trained soldier.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Point being is, I don't know.
It's a hard shot to make, though.
Is it?
Yeah, because if you're holding a shotgun with one hand, it's like that could go all over the place,
right?
And you're shooting through your own car window. It's tough,
right.
But I don't know what happened here, because when he came out of the wreckage, I was like, oh my God, what? They're gonna have this guy survive in this movie.
Yeah,
they're gonna
kind of insane.
You're ready to write him off.
Mm.
You see him get
He's
shot.
The unstoppable force. He keeps coming back.
Yeah, this Christmas adventurer assassin goes and shoots him because they determined that he has a biracial kid. So they're like, just clean the scene. So he goes and shoots him. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess the dude's dead. Right?
Right.
No, he's not. He walks out of it and you're like, what? But that was my reaction. I was like, I don't.
He's walking down the road with this like insane gait. He's like, it's kind of a wild shot, but obviously you know what he's going for there. It's pretty cool.
I mean, this whole character of Lockjaw, we didn't really even talk about it, but he's got this whole tick going on in the movie.
Oh yeah, dude.
Where he's making these faces.
He's like biting his upper lip. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. What is that about? Is that some actor's choice where they're like, I think that this character would be having this tick?
That's either actor's choice or Paul Thomas Anderson would be like, this dude's so unhinged and kind of cracked out that he's just like biting his upper lip. Because he's a very intense guy. It could be either or.
Was it necessary? I watched that kind of thing and I'm like, is this even necessary? What is the purpose of this in the movie?
It's not, but I remembered it. I noticed it immediately in the theaters. I'm like, I like this.
Yeah. I like crazy, weird stuff that actors do.
It's worth it.
And it leads me to wonder whether it was just some kind of like idea in their head that they did.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was just this added thing to make this movie even weirder.
Yeah.
I'm like, good. I like weird.
I like where your head's at.
Sir, your Kino rating, sir. What do you give this movie?
Ah, boy. For me, I'm a little bit, I guess, on the higher side than you are typically. I'll go with an 8.3 for this. Like I said, I wasn't really wowed after watching this. You know, we talked about it a little bit after we saw it and then a little confused, but I let it sink in after a couple of days and then I went back and watched it a second time. I'm like, okay, yeah, definitely caught a bunch of the things that I missed. And yeah, it's kind of really grown on me. So I give it an 8.3. I mean, the shots, like we mentioned, are absolutely incredible. The way that he matched these actors up and just the directing of them to get the maximum that he wanted out of them. And then obviously you're rounded out by this incredible soundtrack. Absolutely Kino, Johnny Greenwood. I'll go 8.3. How about yourself?
Yeah. I kind of agree with everything you said. The only thing is I would probably just never watch this movie again.
Fair point.
Like in the movie theater, I was like, I really like this movie. However, I can't help but, cringe at some of the things that these people are saying.
You make a good point there. And here's what I will say to that is I've watched Inherent Vice maybe like 50 times, 70 times, and Frankie probably even more than me, but it's like, it's rewatchable because start to finish, there's these crazy lines and these crazy interactions between characters. You don't get that for this until the middle of the movie for like maybe an hour. So it's like, it's not as rewatchable to your point. There's like all this insane shit where it's like, all right, yeah, you probably just fast forward through.
Well, like I know people in real life, like these terrorists, where they think that they're going to do this revolution. And it's like they have no idea the reality that like what it would take to actually have a real revolution. Yeah. You have no idea. You think that you're going to do this stuff. And it's like, what happens in the movie? It has zero effect.
Yeah.
Except all those people go on the run and then eventually either die or get arrested. And what did they accomplish? They accomplished nothing.
Simple as.
Except killing a couple people or turning out the power for a day. But that being said, I really enjoyed the part where Leo has to go on the run and there's this paranoia throughout all the scenes where it's him and Sensei Sergio, Benicio del Toro. That whole thing where they were escaping the military was kind of cool to me because it was like the paranoia here, me being a paranoid schizophrenic myself, like I can kind of get down with the vibe of this whole scene, these scenes here. But I really enjoyed the movie. but it's just one of those things where I'm glad I watched it, but I'm probably not going to watch it again.
But that's the whole
Anyway.
point of what I was mentioning, the parallel with Inherent Vice, is that paranoia is there throughout the entire movie. So,
but I feel like I'm gonna have to watch Inherent Vice.
there you
I
go,
don't know,
folks.
Multitudes, right?
Yep.
Like, how many times have you watched that movie?
Like I said,
100,
70 times probably.
right?
It's so watchable. But all in all,
Anyway, I give
great
this
film.
movie a 7.
Oh, all right. Good. 8.3 and 7. All right. Not bad. I guess on your scale, that's pretty good. All right, which leads us to next week. What do we got?
Next week, we will be continuing with spooky season. The Guest. Just this very strange Halloween movie, I guess. I think we talked about it last week, but it's very
Little hints of
like
Halloween.
Drive, elements of Drive, elements of Halloween, elements of the Terminator. Very weird mix of genres.
Yes.
Thrown together in one movie.
Very Kino. But we'll see you on the next one.
Goodbye, folks.